G'day guys, welcome back. Yes, to my disappointment that the Wallabies is still mathematically alive in the Rugby World Cup. And yes, for some reason, I have to wait all the way to the last final match of the Rugby World Cup to find out if the Wallabies actually eliminated or not. Because quite frankly, I really don't want to watch Wallabies playing England and get flogged by England in the quarterfinals. But yeah, it's still a possibility as of the game today. So the Wallabies did able to score more than, how many tries? 5 tries? I don't even know. Did able to get a bonus point win over Portugal and put themselves 11 points. And so this final match is between Fiji and Portugal. So if Fiji loses the match without a bonus point, Wallabies can still make it through. Yeah, and apparently there's too much partying for the Fijian camp. They almost lost the game against Georgia. So anything can happen. It's Rugby World Cup. And yeah, so I actually took the very intelligent decision to sleep through this match. And I watched the replay, and boy, was I glad that I actually had some good sleep last night. So yeah, like literally 3 minutes into the game or whatever. How long did it take? How long did it take? Yes, 3 minutes into the game, we get a penalty, and then immediately they decide to take a kick for 3 points, knowing that you need to score 4 tries to even make it out of the pool. The whole point of playing this game is to get 4 tries. They opted for the goal kicking. Like, I'm so glad. I was so glad that I didn't watch this at 3 a.m. in the morning, okay? If I saw that, I would have just turned it off and gone back to sleep. Waste of time. Absolute waste of time when I saw that. But, in the end, we're giving away, 2 yellow cards? Yes, against Portugal, we gave away 2 yellow cards. I don't even know what's like how to even comprehend that. We talk about pressured penalties. We talk about errors under pressure. I can't imagine the insurmountable pressure that the Portugal is putting under the Wallabies to give away 2 yellow cards. And again, how many times have the captains, the coaches have come out for the Wallabies? Yeah, we must improve our discipline, guys. Yeah, once again, our discipline let us down. Man, we're going to improve our discipline. Can't give away all those sort of penalties. Yes, 2 yellow cards against Portugal. Just the massive improvement that I'm dying to see from the Wallabies in terms of not giving away penalties, right? The good news is, yeah, obviously they went down to 13 players. Luckily, it was against Portugal, right? One of the lowest seeds in Rugby World Cup. And Portugal was not able to score against 13 players against the Wallabies. So that's kind of like a plus. I guess a thumbs up. You managed to not concede a try or any points against Portugal when you had 2 players in the bin. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. It's actually to my disappointment that I have to suffer through this even further, right? So there has been obviously a lot of talk about, in the media about how to fix this problem. There's a lot of discussion about dropping the Super Rugby's team down to 4, maybe even down to 3, right? Let's go back to 1995 or something, right? And then play amateur rugby with 3 Super Rugby teams again. It is, in the short term, it is a solution, right? You put all the talents together, you have more competitiveness in the team, more players spending time together as combinations, and then you have better results. International test matches. That it is a short-term solution. But I just want to point out, right? That is not actually going to happen. Like that, you know what's going to actually happen when you drop the Super Rugby down to 4 teams? It's going to be competitive for a little while, and then it's going to go to absolute dog shit again, right? And then you go, oh damn, let's drop down to 3 teams, right? You drop it down to 3 teams, it's going to be good for a little while, and then it's going to go to shit again. And then what? You drop down to 2 teams? And then what? Drop down to 1 team? You know why it's going to get shit again? Because the fundamental problem of Australian rugby is not solved by cutting out teams and putting everybody into 3 teams. You're not solving the fundamental problem. You're just putting a band-aid on a gashing wound that's going to stop the bleeding for about a moment before it starts to before the bleeding starts to continue again, before it falls off again, right? The band-aid. Because the fundamental problem is Australian rugby is failing at a fundamental level of bringing in players from the lower levels, of keeping players from playing other codes, from completely, utterly failing identifying new players in the first place, and then also keeping players from playing overseas. Both how many players have we got playing overseas that have previous play for the Wallabies, now no longer playing for the Wallabies because apparently they can't afford it? And then how many players are just straight up deciding not playing for the Wallabies at all? Mac Hansen, Tui Pelotu, Simone Tui Pelotu. I want to go to the All Blacks players. Ethan de Groot, Tyrell Lomax, both born in Australia. Kalen Ponga plays for Rugby League. Played rugby union at Churchie, Anglican Church Grammar School in Brisbane. And his dream is to play for the All Blacks. not even remotely going to consider for the Wallabies. And, good for him. He's Dali M winner this year. Kalen Ponga, good for him, playing rugby league. Like, that's the fundamental problem with the rugby in Australia. Not because we don't have the talent to fill up 5 teams. Because the rugby Australia is utterly failing in every front to retain talent, to keep talent, to grow talent. Losing everything, in every code, in every aspect of the game. Yeah. So if you cut down to 3 teams, you're still gonna lose talent in very short time, because you're just gonna give Rugby Australia a pass for not doing the job, right? Rugby Australia can continue to do nothing whilst watching 3 teams being competitive for a short while, and then what? More people are gonna leave overseas for big money. People are gonna look at Joseph Swali'i, $4.8 million, I beg your pardon, $4.8 million as a winger who has 48% tackle completion rate in the Rugby League World Cup, and say, hey, I should be making more than that. And they go overseas. Or just straight up not playing for the Wallabies, or playing another code. Looking at the absolute piss poor culture that is in the rugby Australia right now. The way Eddie Jones is burning every bridge there is between the players, between former coaches. Who wants to be in an environment like that? Like, honestly, I don't blame them if they want to go overseas and play for another country. Michael Hooper, his dad is English. He could be playing for England. If Michael Hooper playing for England, he will be like, he would have got a knighthood by now. Instead, he's getting dumped in his prime of his career at home at 31 years of age by Eddie Jones. Yeah. Do you think that's how you're going to fix Rugby Australia? And just to give you an idea, right? A lot of people are saying, just to give you an idea. Australia has 26.5 million people. New South Wales has 8 million people. Sydney has 5 million people. The entire country of New Zealand has 5 million people. And they can support 5 Super Rugby teams. We should be able to support 5 Super Rugby teams in Sydney alone. We should be having, what, 10? Probably 10 Super Rugby teams. Easily support that if the Rugby Australia is actually doing their jobs. Ireland, 5 million Irish people, plus 1.8 million Northern Irish people, 4 teams. Wales, 3 million people, 4 teams. Albeit not very competitive, but 4 teams, right? England, 56 million people, 13 teams. They dropped down to 10 because some of them were bankrupt. Maybe that's an issue. Like, France, 14 teams out of 67 million people and tier 2, right? Like, South Africa, 4 URC teams, 8 premiership teams, 9, the Australian rugby should be way bigger, just based on population alone. This is the utter failure of the management. That's the issue, not because we have too many teams. Yeah, so I don't know. How are we gonna fix this problem? I think the players needs to get on their ass and work on and off the field. They need to be accountable for losing games. They need to put themselves out there in the public every week, visiting players, visiting schools, mending relationships between the public, between the player base, between the development, the kids that are coming through. They need to be on their ass every week, working off the field and on the field to promote the game. It's gonna be tough, yeah. And if you can't handle it, go play another fucking code. It's just the way it's gonna be. Anyway, I don't know what else to say with this game. 5 tries to 2, bonus point win. It's that goal. I mean, I honestly, when I saw the goal kicks at the start, I genuinely wish that Portugal would have put an upset, because that was just absolutely the dumbest thing I've ever seen. In a match that you need to win with the bonus point, you're opting for goal kicking right at the get-go, right? Unbelievable. 10 turnovers conceded, 18 against Portugal, 29 missed tackles. It was missed tackles everywhere. Corin Betty was rushing up in defense, missing some tackles, but he was putting some good shots on. So I don't know. Is that a positive? I don't know. Eddie Jones can tell you if that's a positive or not, because that's his plan. Kicks in play, 29 for the Wallabies, 24 for Portugal. Probably a bit too much kicking for the Wallabies, but hey, it's Eddie Jones' plans. Who knows, right? Against Portugal, you gotta control the kicking against Portugal, right? Yeah, sure. Conversions, 2 missed. Again, it's not a Wallabies performance without missing a conversion right in front of the goalpost. Donaldson definitely ticked that off for all of us. Yeah, it is what it is. Lineouts, 2 lineouts lost. I don't even know how that happened. Scrums. Portugal actually had some decent scrums. There was obviously a time when Wallabies had players in the bin. Portugal was able to get some dominance in that period. But yeah, it is what it is. Jem Slipper was actually doing quite well again in the tight head position. But yeah, it is just what it is. Penalties conceded, 11 against the Wallabies, 2 yellow cards. Yeah, so Fazla get a yellow card sent off after being warned. He literally tackles them all. I know. He thinks that's okay. He thought that's completely okay, especially after the warning, right? After the referee's given a warning, you're gonna get sent off. Any further infringements, he thinks it's okay. They think that's the sign for him to tackle the rolling maul. Unbelievable. Actually unbelievable. I'm surprised that wasn't a penalty try. I thought that should have been a penalty try there for the referee. Unbelievable. Like, he could have been sent off even if he wasn't under the warning. Even if there was no warning, he could have been sent off. And it could have been a penalty try. You didn't need a warning for that to be sent off. For that offense to be sent off. And then there was an unfortunate incident where Samu Karevi threw an elbow, right? He was trying to, he's building his career towards his UFC career. He threw an elbow when he was carrying the ball and gets sent off. I'm surprised this wasn't a red card. It was brutal. Like, literally, it was a straight elbow to the face. Yellow card. Yeah, I know. He's probably have a career lined up with Dana White at the UFC, which will make a lot more money for him and probably get more respect. And yeah, good luck. So, I don't know. Let's quickly go through some of the stupidity that happened in the game, I guess. Let's have a look at the point summary. Yeah, 3 minutes into the game, penalty scrum. Angus Bell did really well. Take 3 points. Yeah, I honestly, I didn't know we needed a bonus point. Obviously nobody. Just take. That's how you get a bonus point, right? Just keep kicking goals. 10 minutes into the game, Marika Cohen-Betty, the ball was grab a kick towards the goal line, right? He picks up the ball before the goal line, just before the ball was about to bounce over the goal line. And then instead of grounding the ball, right, he tries to run and he runs himself dead. Yeah, 5-meter scrum for Portugal. I honestly don't know how you could get in that situation, right? Like the ball was literally, yeah. Anyway, Portugal was actually getting themselves in the front foot early, right? So they were putting a lot of pressure on, and the Wallabies defended really well. But eventually, 12 minutes into the game, Portugal was just throwing themselves into the Wallabies defense, and eventually the ball goes wide, and it was a try for Benton Court into the corner. And again, there was some rush defense that was mistimed by Corin Betty, and there was the Portugal get the first try. I think there was a penalty as well. There was a quick tap from the penalty, and then just pressure. Portugal actually get themselves the first try. A few minutes later, Wallabies gets a bigger sigh of relief. Portugal gets sent off for a yellow card. Low degree of danger. I think it was a shoulder hit on on one of the, I think it was on Isaiah Parecki. Again, this was 50 meters out. 50 meters out, 45 meters, 50 meters. Yellow card sent off for Portugal. You figure that you need a bonus point win, right? You have a player in the bin to your advantage. Yes, the decision was to kick 3 points for the Wallabies. I honestly, I almost turned the TV off right now at this point. And I was so grateful I didn't wake up for this garbage, right? And then this was right in front, albeit a long kick. Donaldson miss. Yeah. Unbelievable. 18 minutes into the game, Wallabies had a line out. There was a good run from Angus Bell. He crashed down center field. Lots of front football. Quick ball out for Valentini. Offload to Rory Arnold. Finally gets their first try on the ball. 10 points to 7. 21 minutes into the game, Wallabies gets himself more opportunities to go for a penalty. This was a good penalty finder by Ben Donaldson. He kicked like a 50-meter touch finder all the way into the 5-meter line. So Wallabies has a 5-meter line out. They set up a more. Try time for Wallaby from the more. 17 points to 7. 25 minutes into the game, there was some nice break on both ends of the field. Corin Betty was down on left-hand side of the field. The ball spreads out to the right-hand side. Lalakai for Ketty goes down the right-hand side. And then some really nice work. What is it? Yeah, some really nice work from the Wallabies. Crashing down. Quick ball, crash balls. Really close to the trial line. Eventually, Angus, big man Bell, the only player that is good from the Wallaby side these days, crashes through for the first try. He's doing everything. He's scoring tries, doing the lineouts, doing the scrummagings. He's literally doing everything for the team. 24 points to 7 for the Wallabies. 32 minutes into the game, typical Wallabies fashion, lifts the lineout up, drops the player down, blocking, right? Blocks the player. This is the most elementary level of errors, right? Blocks the ball receiver on the way down. Instant penalty, obstruction. Classic Wallaby play right there. There was a 35 minutes of the game. Portugal almost scored. There was a missed tackle, center field. I think Nwanga Nitawasi slipped. The ball goes out wide. The Portugal player run down the sideline. Some good hands between them. And then Andrew Callaway swept across, took the player out just before he grounded the ball in goal. So that was a really, really good opportunity. Second half starts. There was a early try in the second half, 6 minutes in. Jem Slipper comes off. There was some nice handling by the Wallabies. Finally, again, just quick ball, crash balls, and then eventually there was a nice ball over the top from I think it was Donaldson to Nwanga Nitawasi, who did really well, drawing 3-4 players, and then still get the one-handed offload. That was really nice by Marky Mark. Still get the hand through for McWright into the corner. 29 points to 7. Donaldson hits the ball on the goalpost. So 59 minutes into the game, there was a bunch of warnings. Portugal putting on pressure on the Wallabies. Bunch of warnings for repeated penalties. There was a couple of high tackles leading this as well. Classic Wallabies, right? High tackles. If so, there was warning. Fazler thinks that it's time to tackle the ball. He gets sent off, yellow card. Luckily, there was no penalty try. I don't know how the referee concluded that was not a penalty try. Probably should have been a penalty try. But hey, who am I to argue with the Georgian referee, right? Immediately after this one, Samuel Karevi carries the ball out of his own 22, puts an elbow to his opposition, one of the Portuguese players' face, right? Just that classic, just that that classic, UFC knockout elbow move from Karevi. Gets sent off. I'm surprised this wasn't a red card for striking. Wallabies had to play with 13 players on the field for 10 minutes, basically. And then defended quite well, to be fair. There were some big shots from Corin Betty, saving Wallabies a few times. At 69 minutes, Morgan Turanui made a really funny comment. Actually, this was actually quite funny. He said that Wallabies are participating in the Royal Rumble in the WWE. In about a minute, there's going to be 2 players coming on back to back. So I got a good chuckle out of that. That seems about right. Royal Rumble for the Wallabies. I mean, Samuel Karevi is basically performing Royal Rumble moves, right? So it was very, very good joke from Morgan Tuanui. 70 minutes into the game, the Portugal gets a scrum penalty against the Wallabies right in front of the goalpost, and then they take a quick tap and go. And then Wallabies were caught a bit off guard on the defense. Samoe Smoes goes in for the try for the Portuguese, 29 points to 14, and then 3 minutes later, the Wallabies hit back. There was a lot of nice, a lot of big running from the Wallabies. Samu Karevi was, again, just being very dominant in that carry. There was a lot of pick and go, and eventually Marika Kornbedi was really close to the try line, picks up and darts through for the 5th try for the Wallabies, 34 points to 14, and that's how the game ended. I'm going to end this right now. I don't know what else to say. Let me know your thoughts. I really don't want to suffer. Just end this misery. I really, really don't want to see a flogging by England in the quarterfinals. That's just going to be so painful. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks to the guys who donates money and membership, YouTube membership, Patreon. Really do appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a nice day, guys. I'll see you guys next week for the news. Have a good one. Cheers.